Welcome. Welcome to the first edition of Spiking the Football. We're going to talk about the Stranglehold wrestling show that just happened. We're going to talk about all of it right now. I was going to save this for a full disclosure, but why wait? So many messages, phone calls, people I haven't talked to in months or years who went out of their way to contact me to tell me what was going on with the show, including some people who were trying to get into the Georgia wrestling reporting game, who were sending me numbers that were clearly fake because they're trying to help Eric Nelson and Stranglehold out. Well, it's called Spiking the Football, and here's why. Bam! I was right. I was right. I was right. More people on the card than watching in the crowd. Rodney West, you try to tell me there's 200 people there, then why does everybody else who told me the highest number I heard was 75? And that was people walking around during the show. The most credible number I heard was 50, again and again and again. You know how many of those paid? It was even worse than the 31 that I saw that bought tickets, because apparently that wasn't even a real number. We're talking 30 or less paid. Eric Nelson, because you're going to hear it elsewhere, so hear it from me first. So he had the dumbest wrestler I've ever trained, Mr. Eric, the dumbest fucking wrestler I ever trained. Throw one of the PCW titles down, throw it in the trash, and then Eric Nelson, the greatest manager ever, cut a promo saying, this is what I think of PCW or something like that. I guess I would be mad too if, well, let's just say this. One of us has power and one of us does not. So let's figure it out. I'm here on my couch in Florida, but I'm also living in your pea brain, aren't I? Lived there in your pea brain so much that you had to talk about me and you had to try to strike out against me at your show. Your show, which cost, I love my little birds that tell me things, reportedly $15,000, everybody. $15,000. And you know how much of that was just for the building alone? $6,000. That dumb ass Mark paid for that building. For 30 paid. Let's be generous and say they paid $20 a ticket. You and I both know that they didn't fucking pay close to that. That's $600. That's just a tad bit short of $15,000. He didn't make enough money on tickets to pay for 10% of the building alone. Quotes I heard from prominent wrestlers that were there, signing autographs. By the way, nobody wanted to say it directly except for the person who told me on the basis of anonymity, so I'm going to respect that. But it's somebody who was there and would know and had no reason to lie to me and every reason to go out of his way to call me when I haven't talked to him for years. At one point, there were more people sitting, more wrestlers sitting behind tables waiting to sign things than there were people walking around that autograph signing. It's pathetic. Fucking sad. $15,000. Lost over $14,000. And for what? Eric Nelson I would like to say that I'm the bigger man. Clearly I am, but I would love to say that I'm the bigger man and I'm not going to put all your business out in the street. But I'm going to. Because when he did that stunt with PCW, and he had Mr. Eric, again, the dumbest fucking wrestler I've ever trained, had the misfortune of training. After he threw that title down, unfortunately for him, there were people who contacted Matt Hankins. And Matt Hankins, who had a Peach State show to do tonight, and he's probably currently doing it as we speak, picked up Shane Marks, went down to your show, went into your locker room, and made you his bitch. He made you apologize and recorded it just so you couldn't retaliate with some nonsense online. So you've lost whatever credibility you had. You lost your money and your ass on that show. By the way, here are some of the quotes from the wrestlers. Robert Gibson. This guy, there's no way he didn't lose his ass on this show. Other prominent wrestlers that were there. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Another guy, why the fuck did he pick this building and how much did he pay for it again? $6,000? What a dumb fuck. These are guys that you paid to be there. All talking about you. They had to talk to each other because there certainly weren't any fans to talk to. So you got no one's respect. You lost thousands of dollars on a harebrained scheme. Can we just say that hopefully I'm going to put Eric Nelson's pointy little head on a spike and put it on my battlements for everybody to see? Can we declare this, hopefully, the death of the tax return promoter, where they get some money back from their taxes, and then they have a big scheme, and then they lose all that money? The death of the tax return promoter, or at least one of them. Eric Nelson, I'm spiking the football again. I will take the flag for excessive celebration because I said your show would be an unmitigated disaster. I jokingly said, though it turned out to be true, that there would be more people on the card than watching. Certainly more than ever paid to go to that show. And that what you needed was someone like me to tackle you and say this is a horrible idea. Now, you can do whatever you can try to do against Platinum Championship Wrestling. P.S. It's Matt Hankins. It hasn't been mine in a long, long time. But I get the instinct to retaliate. After all, I guess I would be furious too. I guess. If there was somebody there to point out my flaws, somebody there to point out and tell the truth about what really happened, somebody who's going to get more views on this video by tomorrow morning than you had for your entire show paid, or just attending combined with the wrestlers that you had on that card. It was, and this is according to wrestlers that were on that card that did another show later, a total shit show. The worst show in Georgia wrestling in years. Critical failure, financial disaster, and the emperor has no clothes, and that emperor is you. And without those clothes, what do we see? A man with a skinny wallet and a shriveled up little dick, who even in your one moment of bravado, oh, I'm gonna throw this title in the trash. By the way, that title probably cost me more than you made on ticket sales. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt bad. And as for the dumb fucking wrestlers in the locker room who try to say, we could turn this into a wrestling angle. You could. if you had a real promotion. But you don't. We could, if I thought for 1 second, or Hankins thought for 1 second, that you would have anything to contribute. Stranglehold is a tax return promotion that has failed every step of the way. And months from now, years from now, you should be thanking me, Eric Nelson and Stranglehold, because I did 2 things for you. 1, there wouldn't have even been that many people at your show, as pitiful as the number was, if not for me. That's the truth. Anybody care to deny it? There were people who went to that train wreck out of curiosity because they heard me talk about it. And by hearing me talk about it, we put it up on Georgia Wrestling History. And people talked about how shitty it was going to be because I said it and I pointed it out. So you're welcome. Yeah. Maybe after you have to sell all your clothes to pay off this debt, you can still afford the barrel and the straps, thanks to me. But the other thing you should thank me for is, now that your promotion is destroyed and wiped out, you can try to run other shows under Stranglehold, but you're wrecked forever. Right? Stranglehold will become a verb describing what promotions who have screwed the pooch, failed critically, failed financially, fucked up in every way possible will describe themselves or others. Oh my God. Did you hear about that card where the promoter couldn't pay anybody? They sure strangleholded themselves. I got you what little crowd you had. You're welcome. And I will ensure that when people think of Stranglehold and Eric Nelson, they will laugh at best and at worst sweat and fear, because you, my good man, have just become a cautionary tale. You have lost in every way possible. Hell, the Rams at least put up a field goal. To sum up, shit show. To sum up, disgraced yourself in front of the wrestling legends and embarrassed them by being associated with you. Showed that you are a mark by paying $6,000 for that venue. There are promoters right now who are famous for being huge fuck-ups and losing ungodly sums of money on shows, who now can breathe a sigh of relief because now the ultimate sign of a fuck-up is Eric Nelson, and the ultimate sign of a fucked-up promotion is Stranglehold. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? And the one thing you did, I had this guy throw the PCW title in the trash. At least I have that to hold on to. And then Matt Hankins, fucking bless him, like I didn't love that man enough, shows up and takes your manhood away and restores and validates the PCW name in one fell swoop. Because there weren't just wrestlers that were sympathetic towards Hankins because he's booked them or worked with them on shows or helped them out. There were wrestlers that probably did support you. And there were wrestlers that probably thought everything I said was terrible and all of that good stuff, right? But what did they see? They saw you, who, by the way, asked to talk to Hankins in the locker room in front of them. How dumb was that shit? God, you're a fucking moron. And Hankins dressed you down, recorded you apologizing just so you couldn't backtrack on that shit later on and say you didn't. Took your manhood. The venue and everybody else took your money. What little credibility you had. And by the way, all the wrestlers who are pretending that that show was going to be something, they sure as fuck don't believe it now. Your credibility snatched away. Everything is gone except for the sound of a football hitting the ground. And the laughter of a man who hears everything, understands it, and says it all. You lost. You were wrong. You bet on yourself. And it was a sucker's bet. I relied on information, experience, knowledge, and common fucking sense. So I win. I win. Have I always won? No. But in this one, definitively, what did I get? I was right about the crowd that you were going to get. I was right about the amount of money you were going to lose. Though I just kept it to the non-specified lose your ass, which you did. And at the end of the day, when people look back on this, what they'll remember is, fuck, I hope that was the death of the tax return promoter. I've had a few goals. One of them was to get wrestling promoters and people to be more honest about their crowd sizes. 2, to list the crowd sizes. 3, to generate discussion amongst about different wrestling groups in Georgia and make that shit hot. 4, to link up with the community at large, the other guys who do podcasts, the other guys who do vlogs about Georgia wrestling. And having all of us not necessarily work together, but acknowledge each other and try each other out and listen to each other. By the way, I'm going to do a Be Kind review soon, where I'm going to look at yet another podcast that covers the area. But I am going to be the St. Patrick of fucking Georgia wrestling. And I am driving the snakes out, folks. I've sort of hinted around it before. I've sort of danced around it, but here's the truth. I am the opposite of the people that believe everybody should get together and kumbaya this shit. I am of the mind that the weak who refuse to get stronger need to die off and get out of Georgia wrestling. I am of the mind that people who are shysters or criminals or ignorant or stupid or any number of fucking things that a whole bunch of you are and that Eric Nelson epitomizes need to get the fuck out. Because that is what's going to make Georgia wrestling stronger. That is what's going to help out when this wave that's so powerful right now will help people ride that wave and get stronger. Georgia wrestling doesn't have room for the weak, the stupid, and the ignorant anymore. There is room for people to grow and develop and make mistakes. But part of learning from your mistakes is learning looking at the people who made them before you and learning. And if you look at Stranglehold or Eric Nelson and go like, but they tried. If you look at that and go, well, if this or that and this and that would have happened, it would have been a success, then you're a damn fool. But if you look at Stranglehold and you go, fuck, that shit needs to end. And I'm never going to be in, not only promote a show like that, not only am I going to waste money like that, then I've done a great thing. But more importantly, if you're one of the boys that has legitimacy and you allow your name to be attached to a shit show like that, do better. There's a fuck ton of shows out there, guys. Quit wasting your time with the fucking pieces of shit that comprised a lot of that card. Now, the guys who are names and legends who got themselves paid, that's a different thing, I guess. But at the end of the day, was whatever money they made worth having their time wasted, their name tarnished? No. So in a weird way, they got strangleholded too. This has been Stephen Platinum. And after I spike this football, I'm going to turn this video off. I'm going to post it. And people are going to watch it and enjoy it. Here's a prediction. It's now about 10 o'clock at night. By 10 o'clock at night tomorrow, more people will have watched this video than paid to be at Stranglehold. Hell, more people are going to watch this video than actually watch Stranglehold. And if you like, more people would click like. That's bold, because people usually don't click like on my stuff for any number of reasons. But I'm going to say that. I'm going to urge you, if you've listened this far, and if you had, bless you. Just click like or dislike. Take a side. Take a side. You can be on the side that's right, or the side that's wrong and hurting all of us. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Whereas Eric Nelson, at the very least, is going to probably have to wait until March of next year to try again. Love the music. Spike off.